They thought she was just another name on the news, another tragic face fading into a cold case file. But what no one knew, what her killer never imagined, was that even in death, Lena Harper refused to be silenced. Lena was 17, soft-spoken, bookish, the kind of girl who people overlooked in crowded hallways, the kind of girl who teachers loved, but classmates ignored. She lived in the small town of Maple Ridge, where secrets were buried as quickly as they were whispered. And Lena? She had a secret of her own. She was scared. For months before she vanished, Lena kept a diary, not in a notebook, but online. A hidden blog locked behind layers of pseudonyms where she chronicled everything. The stares, the whispers, the footsteps behind her on late-night walks home, and most of all, him. He was the golden boy of Maple Ridge, Brandon Chase, star athlete, son of the town's mayor. He walked like the world owed him something, and everyone in town seemed happy to pay up. Lena had once tutored him, just for a few weeks, but something in the way he looked at her never sat right. She told her mom something was wrong. Her mom told her she was imagining it. She told her school counselor. The counselor told her Brandon came from a respected family. So Lena did what so many girls are forced to do. She swallowed her fear. But she didn't stop documenting it. And then, one rainy night, Lena vanished. The town lit up with fake concern. Candlelight vigils, hashtags, news interviews. Brandon stood right in the front row, eyes misty, voice cracking on camera. "She was such a good person," he said. "We just want her home." She was found 2 weeks later in the woods just outside of town. Cold, broken, gone. The police ruled it inconclusive. Not enough evidence, no suspects, no arrests. But Lena had left a trail. In a folder on a flash drive buried inside her bedroom wall, one only her best friend Ivy knew existed, she'd saved everything. Screenshots of threatening texts from a burner number, audio recordings of Brandon's voice when he didn't know she was recording, even photos of the scratches on her arms after one of his late-night visits to her window. And most chilling of all, a scheduled post, one she had written the night before she disappeared. "If you're reading this, I'm probably dead. And if I am, don't let him get away with it." Ivy found the drive when she snuck into Lena's room after the funeral. She didn't go to the police. She went to TikTok. At first, no one paid attention. A teen with a theory, a dead girl with a blog. But Ivy didn't stop. She started posting everything, one breadcrumb at a time. Lena's voice, Lena's screenshots, Lena's timeline, and the internet listened. Within days, the story exploded. Hashtags trended. People started digging. Amateur sleuths traced the burner number to a phone shop where a receipt still had Brandon's signature. A hacker in Seattle cracked an old deleted cloud account and found a video Lena had recorded the night she died. Crying, scared, whispering that if something happened to her, look at Brandon Chase. The police couldn't ignore it anymore, but Brandon's father pulled strings. The mayor called it deep fake propaganda. Brandon's lawyer filed defamation lawsuits. Ivy got death threats. Her school suspended her. They tried to silence her the way they silenced Lena. And still, Ivy kept going. She uploaded the full video, she published the metadata, she released a transcript of the conversation Lena had recorded between Brandon and his friends, laughing about her, mocking her fear, bragging that no one would believe a freak like her. And finally, the pressure cracked the case. A former friend of Brandon's came forward, said he'd been there that night, said Brandon had done it, that Lena had begged him to stop, that they left her in the woods and promised to clean it up later. It was over. Brandon was arrested. The mayor resigned in disgrace. The town tried to pretend it had always been on Lena's side. But Ivy never forgot the nights she cried alone, the nights she was called a liar, the nights Lena had died while the world looked away. Justice had come, not from the system, but from a girl who refused to be erased, and another who refused to stay silent. Lena Harper solved her own murder with digital breadcrumbs, the truth, and the strength to speak even when no one was listening. But here's the thing no one knows. After Brandon's arrest, Ivy got a message from an encrypted email, no sender. It said, "You found Brandon, but you haven't found the others. You're not safe. Finish what Lena started, or she won't be the last." Was Brandon working alone, or is there something bigger hiding beneath Maple Ridge? The case may be closed, but the story isn't over. They thought it ended with Brandon Chase behind bars. They thought locking up the Golden Boy meant the town could breathe again, that the nightmare was over. But the dead don't rest when the truth is only half told. 3 weeks after Brandon's arrest, Ivy James was still getting anonymous messages. The latest one chilled her to her core. 4 words, typed in bold. "You don't know everything." At first, she thought it was a prank, some troll trying to scare her. But then she noticed something. Attached to the message was a photo. Lena. Not the Lena everyone saw on the missing posters or in her school yearbook. This was different. It was a candid shot, taken through her bedroom window, dated 1 week before her death. Ivy's stomach dropped. Someone had been watching her, and maybe still was. She took it to the police. They brushed it off. "Probably just leftovers from Brandon's cloud," they said. "Nothing actionable." But Ivy knew that wasn't true. This photo hadn't been in Lena's files. It had never been posted online. Someone still out there had access to something deeper. So Ivy did what Lena would have done. She went digging. She logged back into Lena's hidden blog and looked closer. One entry caught her eye, one she'd skipped before. It mentioned a place. The library basement. "If anything happens to me, check the folder labeled 88. It sounded random, obscure. But Ivy knew Lena well. She was methodical. Nothing she did was random. That night, Ivy snuck into the Maple Ridge Public Library. The building was old, its basement older. It smelled of mildew and dust. But in the far corner, buried under stacks of old files and forgotten town records, she found it. A manila folder labeled 88. Inside were photocopies, bank statements, meeting minutes, a visitor log to the mayor's office, and one page marked in red, the Rosebridge Society. Ivy didn't know what it meant at first, but the deeper she read, the colder she felt. The Rosebridge Society was a secret committee. Elite families, hidden donors, old money. Lena had stumbled on it while researching a school civics project. She'd found something she wasn't supposed to see. Documents linking the society to land deals, campaign donations, even the funding of a private security firm. And Brandon Chase? He was just the muscle. The real power? That was deeper, and much more dangerous. Lena had been watching them, taking notes, trying to figure out how a quiet town like Maple Ridge was really run. That's when things changed. That's when the threats started. Brandon was sent to scare her, but someone else had given the order, someone higher up. The final page in the folder was a flash drive taped to the back cover. Ivy took it home and plugged it into her laptop. It opened automatically, no password, just a single video file. Lena, again. But this time, she wasn't scared. She was angry. "I know what you are," she said to the camera. "And if you're watching this, you already lost. I've made backups. I've sent copies. I've named names." Ivy stared at the screen, breath frozen. Lena had uncovered a conspiracy. Not just one boy, not just a mayor's son. A whole system designed to silence, control, and erase. And the worst part? Lena said a name. One Ivy had never heard before. Margot Vale, the founder of Rosebridge, a name erased from every public record Ivy could find. But on the flash drive, there she was, a grainy photo, sitting next to the mayor, smiling. Ivy uploaded the video anonymously, sent it to news outlets, investigators, activists. But the fallout was immediate and brutal. Within 24 hours, her email was hacked. Her home was broken into. Her mother's car was vandalized. And Ivy? She got another message. No text, just an image. Her school ID, burned. That's when she knew this wasn't over. And now, they were coming for her. The next day, Ivy vanished, just like Lena. Her room was untouched. Her phone left behind. Laptop gone. Police called it a runaway. But Lena's followers knew better, because an hour after Ivy disappeared, her TikTok account posted a new video. Ivy, on camera, her eyes red, her voice shaking. They tried to shut Lena up. They tried to shut me up. But there's one thing they never understood. We're not afraid of them. Not anymore. The files, the names, everything's been sent. If you're seeing this, you're part of the plan now. And then it cut to black. The caption read, "Watch Maple Ridge burn." A new post appears on Ivy's account. No video, no caption. Just a blurry screenshot of a boardroom. 7 faces. One of them is your local senator. It started with a murder. It turned into a movement. And now it's become a war. The world thought Ivy James had vanished. Just like Lena. Another girl erased by the powerful. Another voice silenced. But 2 days after her disappearance, Ivy returned, not in person but in data. A post hit the internet like a lightning bolt. "You didn't bury me, you amplified me." It was Ivy, pre-recorded, calm, focused, holding a hard drive. Behind her, a wall of evidence, photos, names, timelines, maps, faces. And then she said something that froze the internet in its tracks. The Rosebridge Society runs deeper than Maple Ridge. This goes national. You've seen one monster. I found the entire nest. The video cut to footage no one had ever seen before. Hidden body cam files, whistleblower recordings, even a secret interview Lena had done with a source known only as the Archivist. In it, he says, they use schools, non-profits, fake charities to launder influence. They pick girls no one will miss. They fund silence with scholarships and bury opposition with lawsuits. Lena wasn't just a victim, she was a threat to the structure. People were stunned, then terrified. Because the names Ivy dropped weren't small-town nobodies, senators, CEOSA, Supreme Court nominee, and one name stood out from them all, Margot Vale, long thought dead, founder of Rosebridge, architect of the entire operation. Until now, she was a ghost in old photos and redacted documents. But Ivy had found her, a hidden estate, off-grid, in Vermont, security teams, surveillance jammers, a place not even Google Maps had marked. And Ivy? She went there. Footage played in night vision. Ivy creeping through a wooded path, a flashlight bouncing, static on the mic. And then, a glimpse. A woman, silver hair, towering, smiling as she walked among guards like a queen among pawns. Margot Vale was alive. But the next moment was even more terrifying, because Ivy whispered one final sentence before the feed cut. "There's a girl here. She's not Lena, but she's next." Then, static. That was 72 hours ago. Ivy hasn't posted since. Her TikTok was locked. Her backup accounts deleted. Her last location pinged near a private airstrip. And someone with power, is scrubbing every trace of her existence. But the world isn't letting go. Journalists are digging. Hackers are mobilizing. Ivy's followers, millions strong, are tracking every signal, reposting every clip, keeping the fire alive. And then came the next breadcrumb, a burner email, sent to one trusted investigator. No subject line, just a link. The video opens. A girl, pale, weak, sitting on a cot in a concrete room. She speaks one word, Ivy. She's alive. They're both alive. But someone is holding them, and someone is watching. In the background, a voice can be heard, distorted but chilling. This is bigger than you. Bigger than your little crusade. But keep pushing, and we'll show the world what happens to those who think they can expose gods. The screen fades to black, but one frame lingers, a data burst encoded in the video. The GPS coordinates of a warehouse. In Washington, D.C., a dead zone, government-owned, unused on paper. But now, it may be the center of the Rosebridge web, and someone is going in. An anonymous account, known only as @Ashfall, posted one sentence last night. "We breach at dawn." As the credits roll, a new video auto-plays. It's grainy. Night vision again. Heavy breathing. Footsteps down metal stairs, a flash of movement, and then a scream. "Wait, who are you? You're not supposed to be here!" Gunfire. Static. Then silence. Text fades in. "They've been watching us all along." It was supposed to be over. The killer was caught. The truth had gone viral. Lena was supposed to rest in peace. But this is not a story of peace. This is a war for truth. And the truth is still bleeding. They breached at dawn. @Ashfall wasn't a myth. He was real. A former cybersecurity operative turned rogue after losing his sister to the same shadow network Lena uncovered. And now, armed with nothing but a hard drive, a drone fleet, and a vow of vengeance, he led a team into the warehouse Ivy's final signal pointed to. What they found inside wasn't just surveillance equipment or computers. They found files, binders of names, hundreds, thousands. Each one stamped with a logo, a black rose with thorns curling like a noose, the mark of the Rosebridge Society. But one binder was different, locked in a steel safe. When Ashfall cracked it open, he found it labeled Asset, Harper. Lena. Inside were reports, surveillance logs, transcripts of her phone calls, psychological assessments, even predictions, how likely she was to speak out, how much media attention her death might draw, and chillingly, acceptable fallout scenarios. Lena had been profiled like an enemy of the state. She wasn't just a girl who got too close. She was a targeted threat. And that wasn't the worst part. At the bottom of the file was a signature. Margot Vale, dated 6 days before Lena's death. She'd authorized it. She knew. She approved. She ordered it. And then Ashfall found a second file. This one was labeled Harper 2. But it wasn't about Lena. It was about Ivy. They were going to eliminate her too, and they nearly did. Except Ivy wasn't gone. In a shocking twist, another post went live just hours after the breach. This time from an unknown location. From an encrypted platform only accessed through a dark web link hidden in Ivy's TikTok bio metadata. The video opened to Ivy, exhausted, bruised, but alive. She was in hiding. Her first words? Chilling. Exhausted. Lena wasn't their only victim. Somberly, she was just the first one who fought back. Determined. I was the second. But there are dozens more. Sadly, girls no one even remembers. She explained how after the video from Vermont, she'd been grabbed by masked operatives, transported, interrogated, threatened. But they didn't kill her, because she had leverage. Before going dark, Ivy had hidden a master key, an encryption cipher capable of unlocking the full Rosebridge archive. Not just the files from the warehouse, but everything. Names, accounts, locations, confessions, the entire criminal framework of the society. She had split the key into 3 parts and sent them with 3 strangers across the globe, activists she'd never met, all with instructions to release the data if she went missing for more than 96 hours. The clock had already started ticking. Ivy's plan was simple. Either Rosebridge confesses and dissolves, or the world sees everything. But just as Ivy finished explaining, the sound of breaking glass, shouting, a red light flashing. She looked into the camera and whispering, panicked, "They found me." The feed cut out. Again. And now, no one knows where Ivy is. Some believe she escaped. Some say Rosebridge took her to the farm, a place whispered about in hacker circles, a facility where whistleblowers vanish and their minds are broken until the truth becomes a myth. But the clock is still ticking. And the first key? It just went live. An anonymous drop, 2.4 gigabytes, titled simply, The Harper Files, Partial. Inside were payment records, video surveillance, a list of judges paid to throw out cases, photos of victims, and more horrifyingly, training manuals. How to break a target. One section detailed how to stage suicides. Another explained how to manipulate media narratives. A third listed risk profiles for girls aged 14 to 19. It wasn't just about Lena. It was about control, about power. And Ivy had cracked it wide open. Now the world is watching. Protests have erupted. Whistleblowers are stepping forward. 3 senators have resigned. 2 major news networks have been exposed for burying stories connected to Rosebridge. But the war isn't over, because Margot Vale still walks free. And in the final seconds of the Harper Files drop, there was a video. Old, grainy,